Mm. Okay, what inspired me to do this video is a question by Tim Ferriss. He said in his book, "What am I embarrassed to be struggling with? And what am I doing about it?" And so, day two is about the fact that in 23 years on this earth, I never went on a single date and never had a girlfriend. And that was because I was deeply, deeply insecure for a very long time. The dominating thought in my mind was, "You're ugly. You're not good enough. You're unworthy." And that stemmed from a story when I was 16 years old. I was in class, and very close friends of mine were just making fun and just playing around, and they said, "You're so ugly," and started laughing. Nah, nah, nah. And that created an emotional trauma inside of me that's here to this day. There's still residues of it that I feel to this day. To this day. And so what that did was when they bullied me, that created the emotional intensity inside of me, that feeling of unworthiness, and the repetitive thought in my mind that you are ugly. And that made me put a resting bitch face for a very long time. A lot of pictures that I took, people would ask, "Why are you pissed? What makes you so angry all the time?" And they didn't understand. They thought that just something happened during that day that made me angry, but it was the result of that bullying. And so that made literally no person approach me. And it was a coping mechanism, right? To avoid getting hurt again. And so at that moment, what happened was I closed my heart, right? I became, I started separating myself from the crowds. I started being much more in my head. It wasn't a good route to go in. And so I was trying to find a solution. So what is the solution to that problem? How do I stop feeling this feeling of unworthiness, which I still feel till now, till this day? And not as much as before, because I feel like I already healed a big part of it. I would say around, if I'm being honest, 72% of it. There's still some residues. There's still sometimes that I feel unworthy. For example, I went to Greece this summer, and there was a couple of girls. Actually, before this story, I'm going to tell you another one. I used to go to the gym at 4 or 5 in the morning before school. And once upon a time, I put it on my stories, and there's this beautiful girl that replied to me and said, I would love to join you and to go together. So we started going to the gym every day at 4 or 5 in the morning together before school, and then we went to school together. That was for like a year. And I was so insecure. I still remember vividly. I used to not be able to. We were in the car, and once the one that helps us here in our house was driving, and I was sitting in front, and she was sitting in the back after we finished training, and he was driving us to school, and he said, "Why aren't you sitting with her? She's back, to talk with her, shoot your shot." I was too insecure to even try. The dominating thought in my mind was, "You're ugly, she wouldn't even see you. You're unworthy of her love." Wow, you're unworthy of her love, or any girl's love. And so that really blocked me from saying to her anything. And she was a beautiful girl. She was an 8 out of 10. I stopped talking with her because of other reasons, but we went and trained in the morning together. We went and did runs together. We went and did a million things together, but I couldn't say it. Right? And so this is one instance. Another instance is, currently, let me tell you right now, there's this girl that I like, that I feel we have the same values, the same mindset. She's beautiful. But sometimes I get those thoughts and this feeling of, you're not good enough. Right? So why even try with her? Right? She doesn't even care. And that feeling of unworthiness pops up again. Let's call this girl L. And yeah, even though L has shown some interest, I'm pretty naive, so I might be wrong. But from what I've seen and from friends, what they've told me is that yes, it's she's shown some interest, and I also try to show some interest. But saying it as it is, saying I love you, I like you, it's just tough, Because there's some parts of me that haven't healed, and residues of trauma that still need to be healed to be able to say those 3 words. I'm able to say I love you to many people, to my close friends, to people with pure hearts, to my family, to myself even. And that's something that I couldn't do before. It was so tough to just say those 3 words because it wasn't the truth. Right? Maharaji said, he was the guru of Ramdas, and I consider him also my guru. And he said, love everyone and say the truth. Okay, the first thing, I didn't love myself. The second thing, the truth is that I didn't love myself. Right? So how can I love anyone else if I didn't love myself? So that feeling of unworthiness that makes you feel like you're in a prison, that blocks you from pursuing your potential, pursuing that relationship, pursuing whatever you want. This is just a fucking illusion that you've created in your own mind. That's what I've realized, because of your ego. Right? That little voice in your mind that keeps, that you've created, by the way. The little voice in your mind that's an assemblage. Sorry, I speak in French too. An assemblage of desires, insecurities, and everything about you from the past till now. This voice is the one that dominates in your mind and that literally determines every decision you take. And every decision you don't take too. And I'm talking to myself when I say this also. And so that ego, the moment I felt some sort of liberation from that feeling of unworthiness was when I read The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It helped me be present. The ego hates the present because it's the key that opens the door to the infinite love of the divine. I genuinely believe that there was a purpose for me not having a single relationship in 23 years on this earth. Or girlfriend, if you want to say that. And that purpose was because I had to find the divine love that is already within. And recently, I'm going to really read you a journal entry. That was a couple of days ago. Let me tell you exactly when it was. Wow, this journal entry, bro. Till this day, it's so powerful. So it was on Saturday, April 6th. So we're the 24th, so like 22 days ago. Or no, 18 days ago. The title is Waves of Divine Energy. And it goes like this. Energy is running through my body. Waves of divine energy. Flowing, flowing, flowing like a river stream. It feels like God is in every cell. Every cell is vibrating with love. Pure ecstasy. When I talk about it, I get the chills. The mind is completely still, totally calm, and the body totally weightless. I feel I am pure divine energy. That's what I pray for every morning, every night. No weight, literally floating. I am so grateful for everything in my life. So grateful for persevering with my practices. I'm going to tell you more about the practices so you can do them too. So grateful for deepening my relationship with God. I believe that this entire journey, which contained a lot of solitude, was there to make me know God and trust God and feel His love first. And then the relationship will come after. So grateful for making it a commitment to purify myself in mind, body, and soul. My heart is open. My soul is celebrating. I feel grace, God's grace. There is nothing, and I mean nothing, that comes close to the feeling of ecstasy I'm feeling right now. And it's available to all of us. If we choose to become more and more pure. God is great. God is really great. Bro, I wrote this. I was literally sitting on the couch and waves of energy, like of love, flowing through my entire body. Like it was all vibrating. It all felt like God was healing everything. It sounds crazy, but that's what happened. And trust me, this is coming from a person that used to not believe in any of this spirituality, woo-woo bullshit. But having gone through the experience and the spiritual practices, I've realized the power it holds to heal. And I'm so grateful for doing those spiritual practices that help me heal. Like, for example, reading The Power of Now, which I referred to so many times, but because it genuinely had a huge impact in my life. And in The Power of Now, he says, if there's something bothering you, there's 3 options you have. Option 1, change it. Option 2, accept it. And option 3, what is it, option 3? I don't know. It's a mystery. Google it. And here, there's a quote of Rumi that directly pops to mind. And the quote says, "The moment you accept what troubles you, the door opens." Okay, so the moment you accept what troubles you, you accept all the suffering. You accept the insecurity. It's tough. It's really tough. But you accept the fact. Even when you don't accept, you accept that you're not accepting. And this has a transcendental effect. You transcend the pain. You transcend the suffering. You transcend the insecurity. And it helps you open the door the more you do it. You accept this present moment just as it is. Slowly but surely the door opens. The door to what, you ask? The door to the divine, to the infinite divine love that's inside of you. And solitude is required to do that. And I think this is one of the main reasons why I wasn't in a relationship. It's because I needed to go through that process. And that solitude helped me become very aware of what is wrong inside. What do I need to improve? What are my insecurities? I started asking these self-reflective questions, started journaling a lot. If you want to journal, there's this app called Day One, which I can link below, that you should start journaling in. Just throw your thoughts, what you're feeling, what you're going through, your experience, just throw them there. It's very effective, and it was from Tim Ferriss that recommended. I love Tim Ferriss, by the way. Recently, he's become one of my favorite authors and thinkers, and he's just a genius if you want to become a high achiever, but also remain happy, right? Especially if you're prone to stress and overthinking and all this shit. And so, solitude and journaling has created this self-awareness, and I was able to see my problems. Because the first step to healing anything is acknowledging the fact that there is something wrong. This is the first step. You cannot bypass this step. Once you know and acknowledge and write down that you have a problem, you've already solved a big part of the problem. Because then the healing journey starts, right? But if you deny the fact that you went through trauma, if you deny the fact that you're feeling unworthy, and you run away and you escape through drugs and parties and your phone and all this, you will never heal. It will only make it worse, right? And you'll fall in this negative loop where you don't feel good enough, then you do your escape, your addiction, then you go back to not feeling good enough, then it's a futile, worthless escape. It's easy, right? And I've gone through it so many times. I'm telling you this, by the way, when I say this, I'm not here to judge. I went through this so many times to realize that this is not the way. And so, there is a better way. And the way is to become mindful and present and accept the present. That's the first step. Accepting the present, first step is acknowledging that you're not accepting the present. That there is resistance, there is stress, there is insecurity, there is unworthiness, there is all these negative feelings. That's the first step. Second step, once you're aware, you journal about it, you know what you're going through, you feel it, is to accept. I feel like acceptance is has become, people think acceptance means weakness. Acceptance is probably the hardest thing you could do, right? It's easy to run away and to neglect and deny all the things in your life, right? The things that are wrong, the suffering you're facing, the insecurities you have. It's easy to run away, right? And I used to run away. I used to run away through football. Whenever I felt shit, I used to go take a ball and go train for hours. And that was a form of running away, even though it's positive, right? And you're getting your workout in and all this shit, but it's still running away. Now, a lot of people ask me, okay, so I have self-awareness. I know something is wrong, right? I'm feeling depressed, insecure, no confidence. Then I accept it, right? But then, what is what's the way to genuinely open the door? And I would say you need a spiritual practice or a spiritual guide in your life. A spiritual guide in your life. And for me, this guide has been Maharaji. Check out Ram Dass on YouTube. Google him, YouTube him. I'm talking like an old grandpa. Google him, YouTube him. But yeah, Ram Dass has taught me to open my heart. And Maharaji has healed me. I feel like my heart is light. And it hasn't felt light like this for so much time. It felt like it was suffering. It was closed. It was heavy. You know you're healing. A very good sign is that your heart starts feeling light. You start feeling like it's open. Like you feel peace in your heart. If you want to know if you're healing and if it's working, monitor your heart. See how it's feeling before and after. Right? And this I found to be extremely useful. Now the main thing is that has helped me heal is meditation. A lot of people have this negative concept. The last day, my dad comes in and says, you meditate every morning. What the fuck do you do? Like just sitting still doing nothing. You're wasting your time. What are you doing? Meditation is probably the most lucrative habit you will ever implement in your entire life. And I say that with 100% confidence. And meditation is the strongest form of acceptance. My mom says to me, yeah, you meditate because you're running away from your problems. You're trying to go to woo-woo land to run away from the problems you face. And stress is completely normal. That's the biggest load of bullshit people have been brainwashed to believe. Meditation is closing your eyes and facing all the monsters you've been running away and hiding from. And is it easy at first? No. At first you're going to close your eyes and you're going to hear and you're going to feel insane. You're going to feel like that in his book, The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle says something really funny. He says he was in the train and he saw this crazy man just talking to himself. And he was like in his head, what a crazy man. And so he gets off the train. The man also gets off the train and goes in the similar direction that Eckhart was going. And the man just goes inside the exact same building that Eckhart was going in. Eckhart goes to the toilet and the man is there. And he loses the man, actually. So Eckhart goes to the toilet and he's like, wow, this crazy man. What the fuck is wrong with him? And then another guy looks at Eckhart like, what the fuck? And turns out Eckhart was talking to himself. So a lot of us have just repetitive thoughts. We're always talking to ourselves. And most of the time it's the negative way, right? The negative overthinking. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. This is the main question that puzzles everyone's mind is, am I good enough? Every action you do, most people, is to kind of get a glimpse of feeling good enough. Most people run away, trying to chase it through cars, through money, through all the rest. This is not the solution, my friend. Genuinely. The solution is to close your eyes, sit still, and face everything. Face it. And from that awareness, you face it. You're not judging, you're not criticizing, you're not resisting, you're not attaching yourself and saying to yourself, fuck, it's not working, I'm not seeing right away. keep three words in mind: acceptance, awareness, and non-attachment. Right? So let it be. If you want a summary in three words, let it be. From those three words, there's a beautiful song that I don't remember who wrote it. Let me actually check. Let it be when I find myself in times of trouble. Mother Mary comes to me, singing words of wisdom. Let it be. And then he goes like this. Let it be, let it be. I said, let it be, let it be. Turn words of wisdom. Let it be. Boom, boom, boom. Who is it from? Mother Mary comes to me. Let me give him his credit. Boom, boom. Singing words of wisdom. Aretha Franklin, I think, yeah. And so, once you let it be, which is the strongest form of acceptance, if you want to meditate on three words, this is your mantra: let it be. You close your eyes, you sit still, and you let it be. And eventually what happens is that the moment, as Rumi says, the moment you accept what troubles you've been given, is the moment the door opens. Slowly the light will start shining inside of you. No matter how much darkness there is, imagine a dark room. If you put a glimpse of light, the entire room lights up a bit. If you put more light, the room lights up more. And this is what will happen the more you accept. Inside will feel more and more light. It will feel more and more like you're connected with the divine. This is the beauty of it. And this is the practice that has changed my life. A form of acceptance that's really powerful is forgiveness. You need to forgive, man. I was once in a plane and I was reading this book by Brian Tracy. It was a book about productivity, but it included a part where you had to go back and forgive everybody that did you wrong. If you want to try it out with one person first. Someone that did you really wrong. For example, the person that traumatized me, that added this belief in my mind that you're not good enough. I went back in the plane, closed my eyes, went back to the moment, what I felt, the person, the scenario, and I said, I forgive, and I love you. I forgive and I love you. And that felt so liberating. So liberating. Like I just removed a huge weight off my back. And my heart opened. And so, this is coming from a person, bro, that suffered for a very, very long time. When I mean suffered, I mean, bro, the most acute form of overthinking, the feelings of unworthiness. Like I couldn't even look a picture of myself and not say to myself, you're ugly, you're like, it got to a point where, man, bro, it was suffocating. That feeling of unworthiness, which resulted in so many things we can talk about in other episodes, like people pleasing, like achieving big goals to try to feel worthy, like seeking attention. Like there's so many things to talk about. But acceptance and forgiveness and meditation have been two of the strongest forms of healing. And reading spiritual books, The Power of Now, The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, the Bhagavad Gita. Reading quotes of Jesus, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see heaven. To be pure in heart, you have to realize that you're not pure in heart first. And solitude often helps to reflect. Being alone, being mindful in nature, and this is, I genuinely believe that I had to go through this process to heal first. Then the relationship will come in of itself. The pure relationship, not the toxic one. Right? I could have gone on many dates and been that toxic guy who's like an asshole and that tries to use these games to pull and push women. But I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. I didn't go on one night stands to just feel worthy. But I rather pursue my self-development journey. And that led to so much beauty inside. The door opened. And the divine is a daily part of my life. I feel him every single day in my heart. And It feels like a blessing. Honestly, it feels like such a huge blessing. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And if you've been feeling unworthy for a very long time, I sympathize with you and I know how it feels. And I'm telling you, there is light. You just have to accept. You have to commit to a spiritual practice. One, whatever that is, reading a spiritual book, reading spiritual quotes every day, watching spiritual videos like Eckhart on YouTube has helped me a lot. Ram Dass on YouTube has helped me a lot. Now the thing is with that girl, I had a conversation with a friend who's like a dating coach. And he's a really nice guy. And I told him, look, this is what I'm going through. This is the feelings I have for her. This is what she's shown. And he told me something really powerful that was intuitively there. He just reminded me of that truth. He said, indirectly, that you're trying to get the love of your mother from that girl, the unconditional type of love. But the thing is that unconditional love is always there. It's always there, available to you. You've just put too many blockages and barriers to feeling that unconditional love that makes you feel like you were never unworthy in the first place. That's why it's so bullshit, these building confidence, you cannot build anything. You just got to remove the things that are stopping you from feeling your innate unconditional love, your innate unconditional security, your innate feeling of being good enough already. Because you are a soul. The soul is already pure. It's already everything. It's already love. It's already peace. It's already joy. So I hope this message has impacted you in some way. This is day 2. I plan on doing this every single day, where I share my journey to creating spiritual truth inside of me and potentially inside of you. So this is an issue I've faced. Let me know what you think. If you ever went through something or ever felt this feeling of unworthiness which stopped you from pursuing relationships, and answering the question, what embarrassing thing are you struggling with? What are you doing about it? So yeah, it's been your boy Aji, and see you tomorrow. Much love.